The translation feature has been developed by so many companies such as Microsoft, Google, Yandex, and other companies. This app has been designed, or this feature has been designed with the knowledge of machine learning and deep learning. But it is not necessary for you to have the knowledge regarding all those subjects. Rather, you can simply make use of the apps that are already created, and you can make use of them with the help of the APIs that they provide. There is an API for Google Translate app, for the Microsoft Translate app, and even for Yandex Translate app. But in order to make use of an API, you should have a basic knowledge regarding how APIs function. In this particular course, we are going to use Yandex Translate API. We are not going to use it as a API because it is available as a component in Thunkable website. We are going to just drag and drop it, and with that component we have some blocks which we can easily make use of in order to translate the text. So if you want to translate the text using Yandex Translate API, then you need not have any knowledge regarding how APIs do function. You can just drag and drop that Yandex Translate API component, and then you can make use of its blocks in order to translate the text. It is available in the media section. At the bottom you can find the Yandex Translate component. Just drag it and drop it. Yandex Translate API is a non-visible component and it doesn't occupy any space on the screen of your app. You can make use of the features of Yandex Translate component in the blocks section in order to translate the text. In the properties section of Yandex Translate API, you have got option saying Yandex key, which is set to default, which means the key that is set here is of the Thunkable, and it is the same key used for any project that you or any other person will be creating on Thunkable. So while testing, making use of this default key is good. But if you want to publish your app and you're targeting a large audience, then in order to avoid any kind of disturbances, it's better to create your own key. I will show you how you can create your own key. But before that, let us move to the blocks section and see the blocks which comes with this Yandex Translate API. Select this Yandex Translate component, and here are the different blocks that are related to it. The event block that comes with the Yandex Translate component is when Yandex Translate 1 got translation. This event occurs when you have requested the Yandex Translate component to translate the given text and it has got a response code or a translation in return, then this event occurs. Next comes a method block which says call Yandex Translate 1 request translation, and here language to translate to. So you have to add the language code in this socket, and next comes text to translate, and in this socket you have to add the text that you want to translate. Below are some of the properties that you can change in the block section, such as the Yandex Translate Yandex key. So this was about the blocks of the Yandex Translate component. In the next video, we will go to the Yandex Translate API's website where the information regarding that API is provided. In order to visit the Yandex Translate API's website, just search on Google saying Yandex Translate API, and you can find that website through the first search result. I will be also sharing the link with you if you find it difficult to find the website. So in order to know more about Yandex Translate API, we have to just go to this website, click this one. and this is the website. And while I will click this button, it will redirect me to the documentation. If you want to generate your own API key, then click this link saying get a free API key. When I will click this one, I will open it in new tab. Then it asks me to sign in or register in order to create an API key. API key is very important if you want to create a app and you are aiming more users for your app. Then if you don't need any kind of disturbance, it's better to have your own API key. You can register with social networks such as Facebook, Google, or Twitter. So what are you waiting for? Just register here and let us meet in the next page. So if you have registered or signed in with your Yandex account, then automatically an API key will be generated which you can make use of in order to translate the text. So this is the API key for me. I will be deactivating this API key after this course because I want to avoid spending money for the app of some other person. So it's better to be careful in order to avoid sharing of your API key, because what happens is that some other person can make use of your API key in his app or website. Above here, a small information is being displayed saying to increase the character limits and switch to paid version, please fill out account information and add funds to your account. So this clearly indicates that the Yandex Translate API key is not completely free. You have to pay money after a certain limit has been reached. So let us move to the pricing section in order to know more about it. So this is the pricing section where we get the information saying for less than 50 million characters, the rate per million character is $15. So for example, if you have reached 1 million characters that you use, then you have to pay $15. If your translation characters through Yandex Translate API is 2 million, then you have to pay $30. So this is the cost that will be increasing until the number of characters that will be translated are 50 million. And there are different rates for the characters if they are in range of 50 million to 100 million. And when you scroll down, you will get a more detailed information regarding how the pricing system will be. So what they say is that for first 15 million characters, the amount that you have to pay will be $15 into that 50 million characters. And even after the 50 million characters, if there are any other characters that you have translated, then from that value or from that million point, you will be charged $12 per million characters that you translate. So this was the information regarding the pricing of Yandex Translate API. So let us go to the documentation in order to know more about how the Yandex Translate API works. Move to the overview section. The list of supported languages is provided in the overview section. So you need to create a CSV list of all the language names and language codes in order to make use of them properly in Thunkable website. So we should be able to display the list of languages that is shown here to the user. He will not see the code, he will just see the language. And when he selects a particular language, we have to set the language code that is to be provided in the method block of Yandex Translate API. I will explain you how we will do that, and even I have created the CSV list of both the language names and language codes. It is available here. So above, these are the names of the different languages separated by commas, and below there are the language codes where the codes are arranged in a sequential format similar to the sequence of the names that have been arranged here. So back to the documentation. Let us move to the next tab, which says requirements for the use of the translation results. So according to the terms of use for Yandex Translate service, we have to add this text saying powered by Yandex.translate. So if you are translating the text using the translate component or Yandex Translate component, you should show this text saying powered by Yandex Translate. This text can be shown above or below the translation result with a clickable link to the page. You have to provide this text above or below the translation text, and it should be clickable and it should redirect to this link. And apart from that, this text should also be shown in the description of the software product, that is on the about page, in the help section, and the official website, on all pages or screens where data from service is used. That is, on all pages or screens where the translation text will be shown. The font color of this text must match the font color of the main item. So it should be black in color and it should be bold as shown here. And the font size of the text must not be smaller than the font size of the main text. So if you are translating and you're showing the translated text at a particular font size, you should not set the size of this powered by Yandex Translate labels size to be smaller than the translated text that you show. Let us go to the next section, that is get the list of supported languages. And here we have the information regarding the API. We need not bother about all this information because all this thing has been done in background by Thunkable, and we are going to use it as a component, and we should need only the knowledge of using the blocks properly. So detect the language, translated text, troubleshooting, all this information is regarding the API. In the next video, we will start working with an Yandex Translate API in order to enable the translation feature in our app. So what are you waiting for? Take a small break and move to the next video. So in order to ask the user to select from the different languages to which he can translate the particular text to, we should make use of a list view, list picker, or a spinner component. Three of the components serve the purpose of showing a list of items. I'm going to use the spinner component in order to display the different languages. So I will just drag this spinner component and I will add it here. I want this translate button and the spinner component to be beside of each other. So let me close this user interface drop down and I will open the layouts drop down. From there I will drag this horizontal arrangement. I will drop it here, and in that I will drop the translate button and even the spinner. Now both the components are visible side by side. While you select the spinner component, in the properties section you have got different options saying elements from string, width, prompt, and at the bottom you can find the option saying spinner mode. So there are about two modes for spinner, that is drop down and dialog. Drop down is a mode where the list of items will be visible as a drop down, whereas in the dialog mode the all items will be visible in a pop-up, and this pop-up will overlay the screen. I will select the dialog option, and in the element section we have to add the list of the names or different items that you want to display through this spinner. In our case, we want to display the different languages, and hence this section in the properties should be filled with the language names. I will be sharing the document with you as a resource link. All you have to do is just copy this language names, and after copying them, go back to Thunkable website, and here in the element section just paste them. And after pasting them, let us test our app in order to check whether the spinner is displaying the list of different names or not. So let me open the Thunkable Live app. So as you can see here, the spinner is displaying Afrikaans, which is the first item that we have added in the elements section. When I will click this, the dialog box will be open and you can find the different languages in the form of a list. In order to change the language, all you have to do is just click this radio button, and the spinner will show that language as the selected one. Let us go back to the Thunkable website, and now the major task for us is to set the language code or select the language code based on which language name the user has chosen. Let us move to the block section. Before talking about that, let me tell you how we are going to ask the Yandex Translate API to translate the text. When you select the Yandex Translate component, we have got a method saying Yandex Translate request translation. So actually this is a component in Thunkable app, but behind the scenes, it is also asking the Yandex Translate API to translate the text. And in the case, if you were using it as a API, then you should have the knowledge regarding how you can decode the JSON text, which will be sent as a result to your app. Now, as we have connected both these blocks, which includes an event block saying when translate button click, and in the do section, a method block which asks the Yandex Translate API to translate a particular text has been provided. Now, what happens is that whenever the translate button will be clicked, the app will request the Yandex Translate API to translate the particular text. And here we have got two sockets with this method block. In the language to translate, we have to add the language code. And this language code will be of the language that user has selected in the spinner. So through the spinner, what we are doing is that we are giving the user the power to select the language from the list of different languages that are available. And the next socket is text to translate, and this socket should be filled with the text that the user wants to be translated. As we have thought earlier, the text that should be translated will be added in the from language text box. Hence, I will select the from language component, and when I will scroll down here, I will get a block saying from language text, which represents the text that has been added in this text box. So we want this text to be translated, and hence we will connect this text to this socket. Next, we should enable a mechanism where we can select the language code based on the language name that the user has selected. And I will explain it in the next video. So without wasting your time, move to the next video after a small break. As I have told you earlier, I have created a document where the different language names and the language codes are arranged properly in the same sequential manner. In order to detect the language code of the language that the user selects, we have to even create a list of the different language codes. But this list should be a variable. Let me go back to the Thunkable website where I will explain you how we are going to create this list. In the variable section, we have a block saying initialize global name to. With the help of this block, we can create a global variable and you can change the name of it. So I will change the name into list of codes. A variable that you will create using this block can be modified through any event, and the variable can be a text string, it can be an integer, it can be a logic, or you can say that a boolean, and it can be a list. And we are going to create a variable list. So let me just drag a block from the list section. Let me scroll down here, and here you can find a block saying list from CSV row. So with the help of this block, we can convert any comma separated list into a list of Thunkable. So let me drag this one and drop it here. And as the socket suggests, we need to add a text here, and this text should have different items separated by commas. So let me drag a blank text string block. So it is available at the top here. I will attach it here, and now I will go back to the document where I will copy all this text. Let me copy it back to Thunkable. I will paste it here. So now we have created a variable list, and it can be modified in any of the event blocks. Now the task for us is to select the item from this variable list based on the language name that has been selected with the help of a spinner. When you select the list option, and when you scroll down here, you can find a block saying select list item, list index. Just drag this one and I will explain you what does a index mean. With the help of this block, you can select a particular item from the list of different items. And here in this socket which says list, you have to connect a block which represents that particular list from which we want to select a particular item. And next, the socket saying index is available. Index is a serial number of the particular item in the list. If you try to number the items present in the list as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then this number can be called as an index. So an index is necessary for us to select a particular item from the list. As you know, we need a language code, and the language codes are available in this variable that is list of codes, and this variable is a list. So connect this block to this socket. Now we need an index. When you select the spinner component, you can find a block saying spinner selection index. So this represents the index of the particular item that has been selected from the spinner, and hence we can make use of it in order to identify which language name has been selected. The index of the language name and the language code in the two different lists will be same for one particular language. For example, as Afrikaans is the first item in the spinner, similarly here in this list AF, which is the language code of Afrikaans, is added to be the first item in this list, and hence you can use this block which says spinner 1 selection index. Now through these blocks we can get the language code, but It is not yet connected to any other block. This operation or these blocks will work only and only when they are connected to any event. What better event can be other than when spinner after selecting event for connecting these blocks to. So if through the spinner component we have got a event block saying when spinner 1 after selecting. This event occurs. I'll try to create more courses like this for you. And until then, see you. Bye. So we have got an event, but there is no socket to which we can attach it. And for that purpose, we should create a variable. As we are going to use it, I will rename it as language code, and this will be the variable. Let us just connect this blank text string block to this variable. These blocks represent a variable text which can be modified at various places within the block section of this particular screen. Now when you keep the cursor here, you will get a block saying set global language code 2. Just drag that one and attach it to this event, and now you can make use of these blocks in this socket. So what you are doing is that you are creating a variable whenever the app initializes, and it is being modified when the spinner has been opened and a particular item in the spinner has been selected. In that case, you are modifying it and it contains the language code as the text and it represents the language code. Now you can use the get global language code 2 block in this socket, and it will represent the particular language code that the user has selected in order to convert or translate the text to that particular language. Now it's time for us to test our app and get to know whether it is working properly or not. So let us move to the Thunkable Live app, and here I will select the language as Hindi because I know Hindi apart from English. And now in the from language text box, I will add some words saying how are you. And when I will click the translate button, it will trigger an event and it will ask the Yandex Translate API to translate the text to Hindi, and that text should be represented here. Oh, something has gone wrong. Yeah guys, it's a simple mistake. We have enabled the complete mechanism for translating, but we have done a simple mistake, and it is that we haven't used the set to language text block in order to display the text here. So let me go back to Thunkable website and select the to language component, and I can change the property of this to language component, that is change the text present in it. I want to display this text when we have got the result from Yandex Translate API. Whenever the app receives the result, this event will trigger. So drag this event and use this block in the do section of this event. And I want the text that should be displayed in this text box as the translation. So let me drag this variable and attach it here. So these two are the variable blocks which comes with this event block, and I have attached it here. So now whenever we get the translated text from Yandex Translate API, it will be displayed in the to language text box. Let us move back to Thunkable Live app and let me click the translate button again. So as you can see here, as soon as I have just clicked the translate button, it has translated the text for me, saying kaise hai aap. So beautiful, guys. We have created an amazing translator app only by using few blocks. So this is a great achievement for me and even for you. So share your achievement with others. Do share it with your family, friends, and get feedback. And don't stop right at this point of time. There is a lot more to learn about Thunkable. So just find the resources where you can learn about Thunkable. You can enhance this app by adding more features, and it's up to your idea, and there is no boundaries for you. You can design the buttons, you can design the drop down, the different arrangements based on your own imagination. There is no kind of limitations for you. So hope you have enjoyed this course, and please do leave a good review for this course if you have enjoyed it. I'll try to create more courses like this for you. And until then, see you. Bye bye.